This week I speak into what it means to find your North Star of freedom, and by finding this you unveil your superhuman potential. Here's a little sneak peek. North Star freedom is the freedom we find when we understand what our North Star is. You want to be your most authentic self, but you don't even know where to start. They'd look up to the skies to find the North Star as a guide. You are essentially creating this version of yourself that you wish to become. No one else should be putting up any other barriers to stop you from becoming your higher self. You'll find the community that you need to continually liberate yourself and themselves into finding their deepest truths. That to me is a superhuman power, an awakened superhuman power. Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Pat Nash RAW, where I speak to the camera without any preconceived idea of what I'm going to say, nor a script to follow, just one chain of continuous conscious thought running through me. Now, one thing I would love to speak about this week is North Star freedom. North Star freedom is the freedom we find when we understand what our North Star is. In layman term, our dream. What is your dream? What is the overarching goal of your life? Is it to follow the footsteps of someone that has already walked this path? You're taking on their will and you're managing it in your own steps. Every step is present as the last. Or is your dream to unveil a life of freedom, one that is devoid of mediocrity and one that can liberate others as well as yourself into understanding and awakening the superhuman potential that you have within? Finding this North Star does not come easy to many of us. Though there are some that are born with it. They know what their dream is. They were born with a passion to embrace particular traits that were given to them. Their gifts. Their gifts suddenly turned into a dream, and that became their North Star. Every action performed was leading toward this North Star. Now, humans have been following the North Star as a guide for millennia. Let's look at pirates and sailors. They'd look up to the skies to find the North Star as a guide. And that's exactly what North Star freedom is. Understanding what your North Star is and using it as a guide to make sure that you take the right steps in everyday life, in every one of your decisions, in every one of your actions that continuously leads toward that North Star or that dream. But Pat, what do I do if I don't know what my dream is? I don't know what my North Star is. I don't even know where to start. Well, start by thinking about what it is that you actually love. What is it that you loved as a child? What were the things that you enjoyed doing more than anything else? Were you someone that continually asked questions? Were you someone that loved building with Lego perhaps? Were you someone that loved community? All of these are key foundations to what it is that you could achieve through your dream, through your North Star. And it's about taking those particular foundations and combining them with the skills that you have conditioned yourself into understanding right now. Okay, you loved building with Lego. The base foundation for your North Star would be a builder of some kind. Now, I don't mean that you need to go out there and build houses. This could look very different You may look into a particular type of engineering. A particular type of engineering that focuses on bridges. So where did the bridges come from? You spent a long time focusing on how you enjoy the way cities work. How you love how they connect with one another. So this idea of connection and this base foundation of building with Lego have come together into becoming a structural engineer focusing on bridges. Now, this is just a very layman example of combining these foundational dreams along with constructive and learnt skills that you already have. I was speaking to a hairdresser the other night. I went in and got my hair done. Thank you. It looks great, I know. And I asked her, how long have you been doing this and do you love it? She said, I've been doing this for 20 years and I love hairdressing. But, and then she stopped. I said, but what? What did you love to do in high school, for example? And she said, I was never very good at learning in high school. I was always distracted. But I loved the anatomy. And the first thing that popped to my mind is a new way of looking at hairdressing to combine this love of anatomy with hairdressing. The anatomy of hairdressing, the anatomy of hair. Could you imagine taking the lingo, the verbs, the words, the phrases from anatomy and applying them to hairdressing? Now, it may sound silly, but I've never heard of that before. This could suddenly become her North Star. A newfound way of combining these particular skill sets and dreams together to create something beautiful, to create something new, to create something that's completely in the opposite of mediocrity. And when you find a North Star that no one else is following, you will find freedom. Freedom is very much the opposite of mediocrity. Mediocrity is what we see all around us. And it's usually within people that think there is no other option. I'm here to tell you right now that there is. You do not need to abide by the rules. No one else should be setting boundaries except for yourself. No one else should be putting up any other barriers to stop you from becoming your highest self and following your true self, your highest potential, unveiling your superhuman powers, because that's up to you. You need to decide, are you going to allow other people to make your decisions for you, or are you going to do that yourself? Are you going to allow your own emotional body to decide for you? Or are you going to acknowledge that, hey, this is the way the body reacts to some things, but it's not who I am. I can take a step back. I can view my decisions. I can see my decisions. We have the power to look at our thoughts, to make the decisions of what we do think, and in turn, we can create the lives that we want every single day. A lot of people refer to this as LARPing, live action role playing, and there's a lot of neuroscience behind why this works. If you are LARPing, you are essentially creating this version of yourself that you wish to become. Now, it may not happen overnight. It may happen just little steps at a time. Maybe you want to be someone that helps people in the community. Start by going to the shopping centre. You notice a little old lady walking around struggling to get something off the top shelf. Give her a hand. Do this without any expectation of anything in return. And very quickly you'll find that the return comes to you when you least expect it. But you need to begin by LARPing today. By embodying that highest version of yourself right now, the highest version that is following the goal, that is following the North Star, you will find freedom. You'll find freedom in yourself and the way that you want to lead a life. And believe me, when you begin following this particular path, you will find the community. You'll find the community that you need to continually liberate yourself and themselves into finding their deepest truths. But you need to continuously be the author of your own path, the architect of your highest self. So, what is one way to solidify your North Star? What are some actions that you can take to begin finding what this North Star actually is? Like we said earlier, there are some people that know what their dream is, and that's fine for them, but you're in a place now where you don't know what your dream is. You want to be your most authentic self, but you don't even know where to start. Authenticity, first of all, begins with reducing the amount of time between that thought and the action. The longer you delay the action, the faster it becomes less authentic. You think of a thought, you think of an action that you want to perform, a decision that you want to make, and you give it time. You give it too much time. You begin to overthink. You begin to try and strategize a way to perform this action in a better way. The more time that you give between the initial thought and the action, the less authentic it becomes. So the first step toward becoming someone that is following their North Star is to reduce the time, reduce the bandwidth between thought and action. Now, there are exceptions to this. It's not unusual to have a bad or a negative thought, especially when you find yourself in a place of conflict, and it's generally not a good idea to act on that thought. But if you are well in tune with yourself and your values, your principles, then you'll know if that thought's good or bad and worth performing on or not. And you can quickly ask yourself, does this align with my highest self and my North Star dream? Okay, that's all well and good, Pat, but we need an action that we can take right now to begin finding that North Star dream. Well, the second step is to write down what those dreams were, what it was that you loved doing as a child, as a teenager, and breaking down the fundamentals of those particular actions. Break them down into their most simple form. Okay, you loved playing with trains. You loved to go for a ride on trains. You loved to watch how the conductor gathered all the people onto the train and then drove the train away. This is probably a good indication that you are a leader, a manager of some kind. Perhaps you'll be great at managing teams, at managing people. So lean into that. Then we've all developed particular skill sets that we found enjoyment in doing. Hey, it could be stacking shelves. It doesn't matter. Maybe you find this little sense of freedom where it comes to making each and every item on the shelf looking perfect. This could be a little bit of ADHD as well, but hey, no one's perfect, and any sort of neurodivergence is an absolute blessing in my opinion. So find the things, the underlying reasons behind why you actually enjoy doing these particular things, between your base foundation dream and the thing you loved as a child and the thing and the skill set that you have now. Combine them. Step 3 is to then work out what your title is. What goal are you going to start working toward? Come up with the title. I will be this. I am going to be this. As soon as you have this particular title, you can start working toward it, and every action that you take is a step closer toward that title. You're not worried about the future. You're not worried about the past. You're worried about the present. You're not even worried, sorry. You are right in the present, and you are so present with the actions that you're taking, the decisions you're making, the choices you're making as a overarching view of what this particular title is. Your North Star title. As an example, I believe my North Star title is the Awakener of Superhuman Potential. I want people to understand that their potential is worth so much more than just a mediocre lifestyle. I want them to find freedom in living their best life, to live a healthy life full of well-being, of community, of love, of passion. I want to see people achieve this as well as myself. You know, there are characters that we may see. Let's look at Luffy from One Piece. Luffy's going to be king of the pirates, and every step that he takes is one step closer to achieving his goal in obtaining the One Piece. The next thing is you want to make a vow to yourself. This vow will contain the meaning behind what your title is. And with this vow, you can repeat this every day, ingrain it into your mind and into every action that you perform, just as your title. My vow would sound something like, I, Patrick Nash, vow to awaken the superhuman potential in myself and others as I architect my path, as I author my higher self, as I relieve suffering from mediocrity, and as I build a community liberated to understanding their deepest path. I would love a community like that, to work with people that are seeking freedom, that are seeking a place to spread their highest truth and to live in their highest being. That to me is a superhuman power, an awakened superhuman power. Now, there are many more steps that you could take in unveiling your North Star, but we're going to leave it there for today. We're going to wrap this up with 3 deep breaths and a little bit of reflection. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position with a straight spine and your hands in either chin or Yana Mudra. And inhale, exhale, inhale, May we recognize that our North Star is the guiding light toward our highest potential and our truest self. Exhale. Inhale. Without the darkness, there is no light. Without space, there is no space. Without the barriers of walls, a home cannot be. So, find the things that are holding you back, acknowledge them, to reveal your North Star and your dreams. Exhale. Inhale. Your highest truth is up to you. Your North Star freedom will reveal itself once you decide that you are worthy of obtaining everything that this life has to offer and everything that you can give in order to relieve yourself of the suffering of mediocrity. Exhale. Thank you once again for joining me. There is something so special in understanding what your North Star is. And like I said, it doesn't come overnight for many of us. It's something that we need to delve into. We need to understand what it is we actually want to give to the world. Our purpose. Purpose is a word that gets thrown around so much these days. But there is truth behind it. And understanding what your truth is doesn't need to align with anyone else's. You don't need to be an absolute copycat in imitating someone that has the lifestyle that you may want. The lifestyle you want is on the other side of understanding what your North Star is. So understand what it is. Seek first to understand and then be understood. Because no one's going to understand you if you don't understand yourself to begin with. Guys, thank you so much for joining me yet again. I'm here in the beautiful Adelaide Hills. I found a lovely spot in Mount Crawford and I'm just surrounded by nature as always. It's one of my favourite times of the week, getting barefooted and my legs are completely numb. And speaking my truth. If this resonates, please give this video a like. If there's anything you would like to comment on, let me know. Reach out if you'd like to speak more. And please subscribe because I'll be doing videos just like this every single week. Now, I appreciate you all. You're all amazing in your own special way. And you have the potential to unveil your own superhuman strength, power, and wisdom. So do just that. Get out there, play safe with one another, be kind to each other, and bless you all. Yeah, I can't feel my leg. This is gonna hurt.